thing that I know that is mother-in-law that normally gives problems or something like that. But maybe you are a guy or something like that, taking care of your moms or something like that. When you now get married or something like that, say something that you have been doing 100% before,
Yes.
you need to reduce it or something like that. And whether you used to get jealous or something like that. That the thing that if maybe they came for visit or something like that around you, maybe you might just say something, just used to it. You might maybe you have already cooked vegetable for you or something like that. Like communication, all things that you say you used to it or something like that. Maybe you can say, mommy, no just mind me, just your daughter, you have to take it like that or something like that. The only aspect I know that is mother-in-law that normally say ask. Even though maybe somebody is looking for the fruit of the womb or something like that, you won't even tolerate it at all. Like TV himself is not passing through. It's not happening. It's better for you to go and get pregnant or anything. This is just that. Eating my son food. Oh no, now you know the way hot like that. The only thing I know about mother-in-law.
Interesting. So you've never had any personal experience with your in-law? Your in-laws are good to you?
My in-law, the only thing that I know that during the time I've never failed the dowry of my wife in their village or something like that.
Yes.
My mother-in-law now came around. The way my daughter is now talking to them, you hear what my mother-in-law just say, but I beg, don't fall my pikin breast because your papa never paid for the dowry. The way that time, even though you not found my daughter, so you not do anything. And I now make the arrangement, do everything else.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Olawale. I appreciate it. Olawale always making sense on the show. Thankfully, you have good in-laws who do not stress you, basically. They only stress you when you did not pay your dowry on time. And I hear you loud and clear. You're saying that mother-in-laws are the ones that give the problem the most. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with it? I feel like every time you guys are quick to put all these things on mothers, you're quick to put it on women. When they say who brings problem, or people just say women, don't you guys get tired of blaming women for all of your problems? Don't forget, we're the one that gives birth to you guys. We're the one that carry you guys for 9 months before giving birth to you guys. So, but I hear you loud and clear. Mother-in-laws can be a handful, literally, but there's some father-in-laws that are very, very stern too. That they can be very, very stern. What's your craziest in-law story? Your craziest mother-in-law or father-in-law story? What's the biggest issue you've had with your in-law? For those married folks out there, if you have any stories, bring it home, share with us. We want to hear your stories. We want to learn from it. And if you have sweet stories, to say about we have sweet things to say about your in-laws, like Olawale, please do also call in too on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. Like I was saying, bringing it to my own family, I know that when it comes to big families or extended families that have to do with in-laws and and everybody and cousins and brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, is either you grow up remembering that you guys grew up together, there was happiness or joy, or you grew up remembering that there's conflict. There's always conflict here and there. And in my situation, I think my dad was the younger brother, and he had an elder brother, obviously, and he seemed to, maybe life smiled on him or luck smiled on him, but he seemed to be doing better than anybody else in the house. And so you can imagine how that would have made his brothers feel, or his brother's family. And my dad was quite a generous man, so he would give money to this person, give money to his brothers, give money to his sister, and then you start to hear all manner of rumors that, is it the only one? Is he showing himself? Is it this? Is it that? And so anyway, on times when he's not ready to give out the money or, share the money around, it becomes a problem, because it starts to feel like, because you are the one having money in the house now, it now feels like, you want to be doing shakara for us, now you can deny us when you want. You can, and then you have some brother-in-laws and sister-in-law who just feel entitled to to your money, you know, or feel entitled to everything, that you should put me on allowance, or you should do me on this and that, which, you know, you can decide to, but again, it's not an entitlement situation. But what is your story? I cannot even start to break it down here, because, you know, I don't have the full picture. I can only say what, you know, I understood from my own perspective. And that's where it comes to, when it comes to in-laws too, it's usually like that. You know, what the person is thinking or what the person is saying or seeing is different from what the other person is trying to see. And sometimes you guys actually understand what's going on. You know, there's ego play there. You know, there's money play there. I want to hear your story today. Please do also calling on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. I feel like there are some in-laws that also, you know, ruin one's marriage. Some people, some in-laws would put you in this position to pick between them and your marriage, to pick between them and your family. You know, it's either me, your mother that have given birth to you, that carried you for 9 months, or this woman that you just met 1 year ago. You better choose one now. So sometimes some men, even women, find themselves in a situation of trying to pick between, oh, should I pick my mother-in-law wants this, or my mother wants this, and my wife wants this, my husband wants this, who should I go with, you know, and stuff like that. And it can be a very difficult place to be. And that's why we're talking about difficult in-laws today. How to deal with difficult in-laws. Are you currently dealing with a difficult in-law or a sweet in-law? Tell me about your in-laws. Are they sweet? If you had to describe your in-law in one word, what would it be? Would it be difficult, or would it be, oh, they're so sweet? I want to hear your thoughts. Please do also calling. You know the numbers calling, they're on your screen. Yeah, so please do well to do that. People will say the monster asking, we made. Who made, you know, what this kind of monster? In-laws do you have? What kind of brother-in-law, sister-in-law do you have? Do you have that kind of in-law that is difficult, the one that you will say is the in-law from the pit of hell, as they say? Or would you say you have a sweet in-law? And usually you see, when we say in-law, they're just human beings after all. Their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters. It just happens that maybe when it has to do with you, you know, when they become the in-law, it becomes another situation. You know, what kind of in-laws do you have? Do you have the difficult in-laws, the narcissistic in-laws, the entitled in-law? And we're asking, you know, share with us what they are and how you've dealt with it. If in a situation where you had, you know, a difficult in-law and you had to readjust some things. Some people, have you seen situations where, you know, their in-law works here, they are going the other way. They don't even see eye to eye. You know, even the mother says, oh, I am coming to see my son. The wife carries herself and goes to a hotel and go and stay there for 3 days, pending when, you know, the mother-in-law is going to be there. You know, and some in-laws are like the situation where the mother even loves the daughter-in-law than the son himself. So we're asking, what are the factors that contribute to, you know, in-laws, you know, you liking your in-laws or the other way? What are the factors that contribute to having difficult in-laws, or, you know, sweet and good in-laws? Are your in-laws good or bad? Share with us today, calling on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. I'm super duper excited to have with me a special guest in the house. She's a seasoned professional compare with over 7 years of experience in delivering exceptional hosting services. I feel like if I can easily just say, you know, compare, just sit down on this place now, just take over this deep waters, and she will just kill it, basically. But I'm not going to do that. I'm the host today on the show. She's been doing this for over 7 years with an impressive portfolio. She has worked with esteemed brands, hosting over 150 events, both corporate and social. She's spontaneous, energetic, humorous, you know, and she's, you know, she has earned the privilege of sharing stages with industry greats in the industry. As a skilled, passionate professional, she excels in whatever she's doing by connecting with audiences, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and more. She has such an exceptional, infectious personality, and I hope she gets to share that with us today on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me in the studio the Step compare. Hello.
Hi, like I'm overwhelmed. Like I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
really?
am I doing out of that portfolio?
Where is your step? Your step compare. Did you? Where is the step?
The step is here with me.
Because I want to climb the step.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
You want to join those that call me staircase? I mean, that's what you're saying, literally.
Call
Now,
me staircase.
I'm telling you, they call me different. They even interpret it to the Yoruba version, Akaba. Like several nicknames from my own stage name, but it's fine.
But why step compare stage name though?
Oh wow, I would normally get money for explaining this, but because of how beautiful you're looking this afternoon or this evening, I'll just keep that part. I'll just keep that part and tell you, step compare. It's interesting. Step is an acronym of my names.
Oh, why did I just think that was it?
Really?
Yeah, in my head, I guess that was it.
So, if I was going to get money from you now, like casted,
I would have guessed now.
I won't be able to get the money.
Yes, you won't, so because that would have been my first guess. Actually.
Right?
So it's like Sheyi, Tokpe,
you missed the names already. Shoni Bare, my surname before I followed man. Then Tolu Lokpe for T, Emanuela for E, and Pelumi for P.
Okay, wahala. Step compare. Wahala.
Exactly, wahala.
Welcome. So good to have you on the show. Thanks
Same
for coming
here. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about difficult in-laws, dealing with difficult in-laws. So how long have you been married, first of all?
I've been married for 3 years.
3 years. Cool. And how's 3 years? You're still in your honeymoon phase now, obviously.
Yeah.
Phase. You're still in your pretending. You're pretending to the in-laws. You be like, mommy, daddy.
Right.
You've been sending them credits. They're still in the happy. Still finish, never enter yet.
Exactly. So, it's been amazing. I would say, just like you mentioned, that there are 2 parts. So the difficult in-laws and the really cool in-laws.
Okay.
I have the cool in-laws.
Okay.
My mother-in-law will cook for me several times. Send food to my house. Call me, talk to me, like we gist, like we gossip. We even gossip about my husband. Like that's how cool we are. But then I've heard about difficult in-laws, and it's not about Nollywood. It's what happens for real, because I hear people say, I don't want to get married, and I find out that my mother-in-law is still alive because of stories that they've heard.
Yes.
But I never had that thought, and I have good in-laws. So the thing is, I would say the thing that is helping me basically is we don't have, or I'm not close to my husband's extended family, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Like unlike some people that have to deal with large families.
Yes.
In fact, I'm not close to my father-in-law, and because my husband is not close to my father-in-law, so he shields me from him.
Okay.
So I basically have 2 in-laws, so to say, to deal with. That's my sister-in-law.
Yes, and your mother-in-law.
My mother-in-law. So his father, he has a stepmom anyways, but I don't even know anything about them. So he shields me. And I think that's like the first point of call.
Yes.
Because sometimes if you have so many people to deal with, that becomes a lot. But if you just have few persons in your space, so you know how to deal with them. I don't do the so-called wifey thing, like go home, fetch water, wash clothes, and all of that. Even though sometimes I offer, I want to do good girl. I offer to do some of those chores, but my mother-in-law is so cool that she wouldn't even allow me to do that.
Yeah.
But then I think dealing with difficult in-laws, because I've heard stories, and I've been in some experiences, so to say, like friends gisting me of how they've had to deal with difficult in-laws. I think the first thing is, I think it happens more with the women than the men. I don't know.
Okay, before you continue that, thankfully you're already diving directly into where I was even going. So we're going to answer that in a bit. But I want to invite my viewers and listeners to join in. And I missed some of your calls earlier, and it's because I have to introduce my special guest. But now I can take some of your calls. So please, if you have questions and thoughts and opinions, please do well to call on 0705 993 6937. or 0705-993-7937. Okay, we have a caller. Let's take that call before we go on into the mother-in-laws and father-in-laws. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good to have you on the show. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
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 I can hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. All right, I'll let you go. I was still saying hello. I had to hello the situation. Please do well to call back, please. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. So yeah, you're talking about.
So I was saying that is more on the women.
Oh
than
please!
the men.
So you're going to say that too? You feel
exactly.
like women?
I feel like women get the big chunk than the men.
Get in what sense?
Okay,
do they
in the sense
get
that,
or cause?
Not cause. Get in the sense that sometimes difficult in-laws tilt towards the woman, like the wife, not the. So for what I'm trying to say is, for the woman in our own husband's family, she's getting the blow.
Okay.
While in our own family, as regards the husband, the husband doesn't have anything to deal with.
You might be right on that. Let's take this call. Hello. Right, it's like our in-laws are on this one now. Yeah, so I hear you. So the women get more of the blow in that situation. But why do you think is that though? What causes that?
Well, I don't like to be a feminist, but I think women have more problem to deal with, if I'm right. So a friend that is a guy that also got a bit of the share of. So I would not want to generalize. I could say, okay, the women should be 80% and the men should be 20%. So not totally only the women get this difficulty in laws to deal with.
Yes.
So I have a friend that got a share of in-laws palaver. So I think so his father-in-law is a king. So they are the worship me kind of people,
okay.
And he has, men normally ego and all of that.
Yes.
So he has that pride of I can't worship you
yeah.
guys. I'm a man. So many times they want him to come over to visit. He tells them, I have my own things to deal with. And then he kept on dealing with them. And one thing he told me was, I left them in their space. I allowed them be. I allowed them be. And now they are starting to,
But isn't that a dangerous place to be though? Allowing them be.
I think it works for some people. It's just like you mentioned that these people are human beings too. It's just like you will deal with your friend that has wahala. So I think it works on like just how you deal with individuals that are problematic.
Interesting.
It's the same thing with in-laws that are problematic.
Interesting.
So for a friend that gets on my nerve and
okay, call's coming. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for calling in.
Hi.
Yes, Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. What's your name?
My name is Lisa.
Okay, please turn off your radio so that I can hear you clearly.
Lisa?
Please turn off your radio. Tune it down.
Okay, I've tuned it down.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but you're echoing.
Oh well.
Turn it off then.
Okay, let me try and reduce it again.
Just turn it off.
If I turn it off, I will not be able to hear myself.
But why do you want to hear yourself? You're talking to us.
I want to see how good I am performing.
You will hear yourself. It's a phone call. You will still hear yourself. Just turn it off.
Okay. So, let me turn it off.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
So, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's a lot better.
So, like the lady was saying, I think she's partially right. Because we have more of the problem on the women's side in terms of in-laws. Men don't have any problem, particularly the father-in-law, the brothers-in-law. All they are interested in is to enable peace reign in their homes.
I don't really agree. So we are the one bringing the war. We don't want peace.
Listen,
we want war.
We don't think the same way. We are not wired the same way. Your thoughts might be different from mine. So we have individual differences in terms of thoughts. What I'm saying is that it's usually more the problem is more on the women's side. The mother-in-law would like to lord over the wife, that is the daughter-in-law. The sisters-in-law will want the wife of their brothers to worship them. You see, they want to dictate. Meanwhile, you see, the interesting thing is that it's a kind of a roundabout problem. The same woman that is monitoring or giving the problem, giving the brother's wife's problem, is also being monitored by the in-laws outside, outside the brother's home. So it's a kind of a problem within the system of the women. But the man that has no problem at all. Majority of the men don't disturb their sister-in-laws, don't disturb the family members. All they just wish is just to enable peace to reign.
No, but some men are entitled. There are some entitled in-laws. They feel like because you have money, you have to give them a certain amount. They even start to state what you should give them as an in-law.
Yeah, I think it's an individual thing. It all depends on the person. It's a personal thing. But I feel, because, like for instance, all my brothers that are with their wives, I don't disturb them. I don't know even if they. What I always do is that I always want peace to reign in their families. But you can't believe it that my siblings who are female, they will go all out. They will think the wives of their brothers should worship them. Meanwhile, they can't tolerate the same thing they are doing to their sisters in-laws. They can't tolerate it in their own personal home. So it's a kind of problem. Women are very problematic. I don't really know. I'm very sorry to say. Yes, they are very envious. They are jealous. If their brother is treating their wives, their wives very well, they feel so angry. They feel so jealous. They disturb the wife. I don't know. All I don't plead is that.
What do you think is the cause of it?
I think it's naturally enviousness, and the natural thing about women. They are by nature. They don't like to notice anybody come into their space. That's my own understanding.
And that's including your mother, right?
My mother is the same thing. There is no hide and seek game about it. Yes, now it is a kind of revolving thing. It's a circular thing. A woman leaves, the woman that is inside that place that is now talking, by the time the son marries, she wants to lord over the wife of the son.
I'm not like that. I'm the only exception.
I pray you won't behave that way too, because though there are so many good women, just like she is mentioning, the mother-in-law being friendly with her and so on, tolerates her, talk with her and so on. They are very, very few. It's about 5% of the women all over the world. But the bad ones are more. The very wicked ones, they will come to the house of their son and they start asking, how are you cooking this food for my son? You are spending all this money. I want to cook. I want to talk with my. You see, they want to dominate. Very domineering kind of character they have with women. So I don't really understand how we can resolve all these issues.
We'll understand it today. Don't worry. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it.
God will bless you. Thank you very much.
So, do you agree with some of the things he said?
Well, he started off a bit, no, but I mean, towards the end,
But you also said it. You said women were problematic.
No, of course, I did
he
say that.
He only just buttressed what you said earlier.
Of course. That's why I said that. So we're like saying two different things in the sense that I am talking about the fact that the men don't really get any of the stress. It's always on the women. Husbands don't always, you just maybe 10-20%.
Could it be that because there's a soul, the woman, they already attach the home and the woman, to the woman in some way?
To the woman. But just like you were telling him that some father-in-laws still have their own issues. Mm-hmm. Call to tell you that, when we're going to get married, my father-in-law was hammering on someone that didn't train the son. He was hammering on, if you want me to attend your wedding, you have to buy my outfits. You have to do all of this. Mm-hmm. You have to do all of that. My husband wasn't going to give in, but at the end of the day, was oh, you're seeing my father. Mm. So if he didn't shield me from him, I know so many times that he will call me to tell me that send me this, send me that, send me. So father-in-laws to have their own. So it's not only women. That's why I wouldn't totally. I know that we women, we have our own, right? But I would not totally agree that men don't have their own in this, because I mean, like you said, there are father-in-laws that are entitled.
Interesting. Step Compare in the house sharing her thoughts on in-laws, the in-laws, dealing with difficult in-laws. Do you have difficult in-laws or sweet in-laws? You have stories to share? Do you have questions and opinions? Please do well to calling on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. So how do you deal with all these in-laws that want to meddle in your business, want to be entitled? How I know you have mentioned one. What I got is that you just what was the English you used the other time? You're like, just be
Allow
away,
them,
just
yeah.
and allow them be.
Let them be.
But some of them will not let you be. You can let them be, but they will not let you be.
Yeah, so that's very true. One thing is, the husband and the wife must be standing. Like, what I mean is, they must communicate. They must be close. Like, nothing comes in between us.
Okay, let's take this caller before we continue. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good to have you on the show. Thanks for calling.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Suru Awala.
Your name is what?
Suru England Awala.
Okay, good to have you, Awala, on the show. Talk to me. Talk to me.
So what I want to say is this. I had an accident and I have a broken wrist. My spinal cord broke. I want you to help me to beg the Nigerians to help me for the treatment they want to give me.
I can't really hear what he's saying. I can't hear you, sir. Please. Okay. What did you say? I can't hear you. I can't seem to hear you. Are you contributing on the topic of the day?
I say I have a spinal cord break accident. You understand?
Oh, okay.
And at the same time, I'm begging Nigerians to help me to beg the Nigerians to help me for the treatment.
Okay, please do well to call. Send your messages or send your concerns to this number I'm going to drop right now. For now, we're not talking about spinal cord, sadly, but please do well to send your concerns to this number 081-2806-2337. I'll mention it again when you go offline, but thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. All right, the number to call, please send it to 081-2806-2337. 081-2806-2337. We're talking about dealing with difficult in-laws. So yes, you were saying before I cut you there.
Yeah, so I was saying that husbands and wives should maintain their stance on the role in-laws play in their relationship. It helps a great deal.
You mean they have to be on the same page?
Yes, they have to be on the same page. So I have a friend that will always tell me that I cannot deal with having my husband's sister stay in my house. That's when the see finish enters. Because I mean, if you have your husband's sister staying in your house for a year, there are so many things that you would not tolerate, and it will be like, this my brother's wife has issues. This my brother's wife is problematic. So if you are dating and then you get to talk about this, husband or wife or whatever, once we are married, we do not want to have people or in-laws come to stay around. And if they come around to stay, maybe they want to come and take care of the child, all of that, the omugwo should not extend more than 1 month. That's once you guys have that negotiation or agreement. If the husband's mother is bringing any whatever, the husband will be able to tell her right there that no, that can't work.
Well, but it's easy to say than do, because a lot of families, a lot of things happen in families where you have to, this one come and stay here, this one wants to do internship,
So the husband has a lot to do in terms of protecting your wife. Or you're in a discussion, they are saying, my wife this, my wife that. I mean, your wife is doing this, your wife is doing that. The husband should be able to protect and say, please don't talk about my wife this way and all of that. The husband has a lot of work to do when it comes to protection. Therefore, that way, you'll be able to manage difficult in-laws. So they would even say, like you are saying, they would even say, is your wife that is making you to be far from us? Let them say those things if it will help you a great deal. Because if they don't, they will still say it. There is no way you're going to be able to please them. And we are all humans at the end of the day. You won't be able to please them 100%. So whatever you want to do, just do it right away. So communication, maintaining that boundary, keeping boundaries helps a great deal. So if you can be able to maintain that boundary that, whoever comes to visit doesn't use more than a month, or we don't get to have people come to sleep over, we just have them come to visit and leave immediately. Or when we go for holidays, or we go for visits, so to say, maintain. I know a particular family that once the wife comes around, like they have several wives, but they like classify that kind of wife to be, she will not happy to do this, she will not happy to do that, she's that classy, like she classifies herself. Funnily, she it's a, how would I say, it is a character or how she puts herself that they handle her. Other wives will be the ones to do the traditional wifey thing, fetching water, doing all of this, but she would just sit still and then commands that respect for herself. So it might be that she was the one that brought about the respect, or her husband. So I mean, whatever you will not take, don't even start. There was this lady, I mean, she's no more, I mean, they're now divorced. While she was courting with her husband, she would always go to her mother-in-law's place, help her to do everything. Even food that she would normally not eat, she would not want to say no, because she wants to appear nice. And that's it. You don't have to pretend. We're in a world where, I mean, you should be able to voice out.
Yeah, but imagine if your in-laws don't like you. Have you seen situations where you are dating and your in-laws are not liking you, or you're just trying to make them like you, or trying to, imagine getting married to in-laws that do not like you, and you're trying to just, close the gap between yourselves. Are you saying we shouldn't close the gap,
That's, you see, it's this kind of thing is dicey. Like, you have to just understand your in-laws for who they are. I know someone that her in-laws don't like her, and she doesn't force it. Like, in the long run, you get to like me. If you don't like me now, it's fine. The children might even be the cause of them liking her in the long run. There's no need forcing it. I'm very, like, okay, you might say it's better said than done, but at the same time,
I was going to say that.
It's better said than done, but then whatever you would not accept, don't just put it on the ground.
Is it advisable to cut ties with your in-laws?
If that's what's obtainable.
This is why you used to cause village people. Before they will go and tie you.
You will be prayerful, my dear.
They will go and tie your name and something.
You will be prayerful.
Because, I mean, that's what people...
You're going to enter the throne room of prayer and begin to scabble. Because, I mean, like, I sincerely get that. But at the same time, if that's what will give you your peace, do it sincerely. Because you can't satisfy everybody 100. So you just have to maintain your peace. At the end of the day, cherish your own peace. Love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. So it means that I have to love myself before I get on to love that neighbor. So if loving yourself is getting peace as much as possible, please.
Would you advise singles who are getting married and realize that their in-laws don't really like them? Would you advise them to go ahead? Especially when they say, okay, when you're getting married to your in-laws.
Of course, when you're getting married, you're not just marrying your husband, or you're not just marrying your wife. You're also marrying her family or his family. Yeah. So as much if that's like the only red flag, for me, that's not so much of a red flag. Sincerely, like, I'm speaking like the caller earlier said that everybody has got their own thought process or thought pattern. That's not like the only thing to consider when getting married. There are a lot of factors that we can't even start talking about now.
True.
But as much as possible, I don't tag it as a red flag, if you ask me. That's my own process. That's my own thought pattern. That's what my own thought is, that not getting married because of you have a terrible or difficult in-law. So many times, men would have introduced like 1,100 women, and then there's a particular person that the mother is liking, and he's not ready to settle down with that one. He just, maybe after bringing her, she now started bringing up all these attitudes and all of that.
Yes.
And the guy is not cool with it and goes on to marry another woman, and the mother is sitting down with it and no, it's the other one he will get married to. I mean, this one would even be far better, but because she already picked interest in the other one that the guy doesn't even want to settle with. I mean, there are cases where at the end of the day, the mother regrets that, I forced you into getting married to this lady. That's why men, I beg, if you are not ready to settle down, I don't bother taking her home. Because there are sometimes that you just take that lady home already, and then your mom is already in love with her. And then you put 1 plus 1 together and you see that it's not working out anymore.
But she's already
your
tied.
mom is already in love. I mean, if it now happens that, because mothers, one of their love languages is acts of service. That stops it for most mothers.
What do you mean act of service?
Sweep. No, well, if you want to say in the modern way, send money. Send money.
So that one is gifts giving now, not act of service.
No, act of service. I mean, like, go home, mommy, do you have clothes to wash? Do you have any chores to do? That's acts of. Then also they love giving. I think giving tops it, not acts of service. Money.
So do you think money has a part to play in whether your in-laws are difficult or
exactly,
nice, right?
Exactly. Money
they stop nonsense.
Money they stop nonsense.
By the time they want to bring their wallet, you top them up with money.
I know someone that would say that. I know someone that would say that the person they wanted their brother to get married to, he didn't get married to her, and the person he is with currently, they feel like she is stingy because you would hardly want to get something from her compared with the other person. So imagine if she was doing like giving right now, they would be stuck with her.
But that also has boundaries, because if you give, they'll keep taking.
Exactly.
One day they will not know their boundaries.
I mean, so it boils back to maintain your boundaries. Maintain your boundaries as much as possible. Someone takes a particular lady home, and then the sisters are wanting that, share your wife will not drop something for us. If you start that, it's going to continue. So just at the end of the day, it's about individuals.
Yeah, you have to
like, no me go tell you what you go do.
And there are also places to apply wisdom too. There are some places where be yourself, do this, diplomatic. But also you have to find a way to when to bend and when not to bend.
Yeah, exactly.
Those boundaries are very, very important.
Very important.
Step Conquer, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And someone would have thought you were a motivational speaker with all this you have given us.
Oh wow,
today.
I mean, public speaking too is a
thing for me. MC, Don't play. You're gonna learn. I beg, just leave the very dark man on.
Oh my goodness, let's not even go there.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. How can people find you on social media in case they have events for you, want to be your fan,
Aww.
Who would have said want to marry you now, but you already have your own in-laws.
Taken.
She's taken. How can people find you?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram at Step Compare, STEP Compare on Instagram, and then YouTube, you can connect to me on YouTube too, also at Step Compare, and on Facebook also at Step Compare. I mean, all through the platforms.
Step Compare. Wow. Thank you so much for calling us, for sharing, and for being a part of the show. Please do also follow at Deep Waters _ podcast on Instagram and Facebook to join the Deep Waters community. Deep Waters is live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'll be back again next Monday at 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. and Wednesday 5 to 6 p.m. Friday 5 to 6 p.m. for another amazing show for you. Make sure you choose yourself all the time before your in-laws, and most importantly, be wise. Know when to bend and know when not to bend. Boundaries are very important. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.